Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr., a.k.a. Petty Guerrero.
Hey, yo, it's me. It's the T-double-O, that J-I-double-G. 2G. TJ Jefferson. What up, man?
What's going on, man? You know, I just got the itch, bro. I couldn't, the shooting schedule was getting crazy, doing the movie, but like something monumental happened on Friday, and there's no way I could do. We've been doing a lot of guest episodes. We don't really have room to talk about what's been going on, and I got to talk wrestling with somebody, TJ. So who better than my tag team partner, the best in the world, TJ Jefferson? Some things have happened, TJ.
Speaking of the best in the world, for the situation that Phil Brooks, Cookie Monster Punk, Stick Magnet Punk, he's been put in a situation last couple weeks that forced this man's hand, O'Shea. Seth Rollins, him and Punk, they just don't like each other. I think that's safe to say, right?
Yeah, and I'm right with you.
Okay. They don't like each other, so what does Seth Rollins do? He goes and brings his wife in, the man, Becky Lynch, kind of putting a little swerve, putting a little new direction into the vision. Right now she's going to come out. She's going to slap Punk up a few times, you know what I'm saying? Like, paintbrush him, ask him what he's going to do, provoke him, antagonize him, push him.
Even motorboated him a little bit. I don't know what was going on.
But that's when you put your head in someone like, man,
boy, I swear to God.
Becky, we said this when Becky came back about Lyra and people were complaining. And I said specifically, Becky's going to put Lyra over in a way that she never would have got over before. And I think that pretty much held true, right?
Yeah.
Becky's good at that. So I guess what Becky decided to do now is she pushed that man, Punk, to the edge of the cliff, and she left him no other alternative. You see, he had to roll over in bed one night and said, baby, this girl treating me bad. I need you to come in and do something about it. And then finally, she's like, I got time today.
She's like, you saw her hit me in the face, right?
You saw that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did good. I didn't even touch it. You saw that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, bro. And then they did a very good job of keeping us anticipated because we've been here before. And, we know the power of just pulling the rug from under us. And I think sometimes WWE does get a kick out of doing that, but they knew where they had to go. They knew where they had to go because as much as the world loves Rhea Ripley, if we would have heard "This is my brutality," it would have sucked the air out the building. It would have been like,
and you're right. If we would have heard anyone's music, you would have risked turning that crowd against them, aka Rey Mysterio in the Royal Rumble, aka Roman, aka anyone who came out when the fans were expecting someone else. You run that risk, which you don't really want to do, right? I mean, they've done it before, but
especially not right now, not with this feud. Not with this feud. This is the big boy of Raw right now. Yeah, and you don't want to mess this up. And something about her music fading in, the pop that AJ Lee got was deafening. It was everything that 10 years of anticipation and wonder and rumor and question sounds like. Yeah. And man, light it up. Light that mother effer up, bro. Because when she came out, not only the women, but the dudes going nuts. And it was so good to see her. My God, is she in shape? Yeah. Good Lord. I mean, just a perfect copy of what we once remembered. And she came out, worked the crowd the right way. At first, I thought Becky was going to duck out. I thought Becky was going to tear ass, get up out of there, like OJ in the Hertz commercial. But no, she stood there. She took some blows. AJ looked
but Shay, I don't I don't even get to the ring yet, man, because there's a lot that happened before she even made her way there. Just like you said, the music starts, right? Now the pop comes. There is the anticipation. Then we get the pop. You have that few seconds where the crowd, the music's on, you're waiting, and then she walks out. and people lost their mind, right? And this is why I feel like, I don't know, I don't understand the power that wrestlers, rappers, musicians had. The woman walked out and did not have to say a word. She never spoke on the microphone. She never spoke out loud. She came out, took in that crowd adulation, and then kind of looked at Becky with her head cocked, like, oh, really? Okay. And then she
Mm-hmm.
took a step, and then she took another step, and then she started to skip. And bro, when the skipping started, that thing got cranked up. It went from a
Yeah.
10 to a 12 when it, and then she skips down, she looks at Punk, she makes her way around.
Yeah, she even did that. She did a lap. She did a
A
lap
lap.
before.
She did the Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar lap when and then the look, and then getting in the ring, and you have to give, and now getting up to where you just were, all of that, the skipping, the anticipation she gets in, props to Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch sold this like the most dangerous human being on God's green earth. Just came walking down that ramp, and she doesn't know what to do. The fear that Becky showed, her reaction, her body language, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know AJ, she came off as somebody like, well, wait a minute, I know Becky, I know she's
Yeah.
bad, so she's afraid of her. Like, who is this person? That is for the little few people who didn't know.
Right.
And then the attack started. Yeah,
Yeah. And also, let's give it up to Seth. Seth looking at the ramp and then looking
yeah.
at Becky in the ring.
It's like like yeah,
Yeah. Such a memeable moment. That's definitely going to be a reaction meme for years to come. And yeah, man, AJ, she looked crisp. You look at little things like the punches and all of that, and people try to get on WWE for their camera cuts, but we saw what we needed to see, even in that little bit of instance. Of course,
yeah.
everyone's waiting to see certain moves, but she let her off easy with the slap, the hand lick,
Yeah.
let the crowd feel it a little bit. You know what time it is, gave it to her. And that wasn't it. She held that title.
Yeah.
She held
What
that IC title.
and even like the reaction, the slap, just what she did, and I rewound this a few times. Sometimes the working punches look like working punches. When she was on top of Becky, like I hope every girl in Evolve and NXT watches how she was throwing those punches. I'm gonna need everybody because those punches looked legitimate, they looked purposeful, and they looked like they were landing. It
Yeah,
wasn't like when someone's getting beat up on the forearms. I mean,
yeah,
that's a 15-year vet who took 10 years off, who's already honed her skills and honed her craft. But I love the punches that she was throwing when she had Becky down, man. It looked better than it should have for someone who hasn't been doing that in this ring for as long as she has.
exactly. And that's just it speaks to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And you could tell I might be off TV. I ain't left the square circle. This is one of
Well, she ain't
those.
left the gym. She ain't
Yeah,
left the
for
gym.
sure. Abs
Yeah.
on abs, ready
The
to rock.
quads, the
Yeah,
quads were popping. Like I mean, look, no disrespect because we know her husband. I'm not trying to be that way, but yeah, she looked phenomenal, man. She really did. In great shape.
phenomenal. And I spoke about her holding up the IC title. Her and Punk going up that ramp, and there's a moment that's on social media right now
Mm-hmm.
where when she has the title and she tell him, "I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna,
But see,
let me get one more
but,
game."
but see, we'll pull back the curtain a little bit. That's one of the things you get to notice when you see a different angle. That's really Stu, the cameraman, right? Because
Yeah,
I was seeing a lot of people going, "Oh, Stu's directing." No, no, no. See, what you have to understand is the cameramen all have ears. All the guys in the back are telling them. So they get up the ramp, and I'm sure somebody told Stu to have her. And I saw another clip where you could see him like pointing. And when she said that to him, I'm going back, and he was like, "Fine." When she started to run back to the ring, it
yeah,
went up to 14, Shay. She
yeah.
slid in that ring and she's like, one more time, I'm going to do a round. And then she skipped around 16. That place,
Yeah.
just when you thought it couldn't get louder, she did little things. She had that crowd right here.
Right.
Here
And
you go.
even if you look at that clip, even Phil was out there jumping a little bit,
Yes.
had a little
Yes.
pep in his step. Oh, happy my wife at work ass. Boy,
You
he's
and
feeling good.
you and I were talking that night, and we both said, you and I are both single, but we both said, man, we are hope that we get to the point in life where we find someone that we look at with
Yeah.
that much pride, the way that man was looking at his lady, man. It just, the happiness, the joy, it was like his 10 years of everything he went through, getting fired on the wedding day, all the bad blood, having to go somewhere else, coming back. It was just like a million-pound weight had been lifted off that man's shoulders, and we saw it. You could see
Right.
it. And it was really cool. And not to put your personal business out there, but you text him right after, and you showed me the text, and he was basically just gushing about how proud he was and happy
Yeah,
for her,
man.
and that was really
Bro,
dope.
he loved his lady. He loved his
Yeah.
lady, and now he gets to see her at work, and he get his dog now. He get Larry now. My man Larry was in the captain's chair in a photo that I saw on social media.
Oh, I heard Larry was in Gorilla, and he's the one who hit the music cue.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, he was calling the shots. The Wolf Man was out, bro. Shout out to Larry.
I heard Larry
Phil,
was
bro.
the one who told Stu to have her go back
Yeah.
to the.
Tell her to go back.
I'm hearing. Go back. But yeah, bro, what a dope moment. And wrestling every now and then will give you those moments where the Rock thing. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I got chills when she came out. It was so dope watching her do her thing after so long. Just because I honestly couldn't wait to get to social media that night. I couldn't wait to get to Instagram and Twitter and TikTok just to see what videos were coming.
Yeah.
And then the reaction videos, people crying, losing their mind. Like it was one of those moments where every now and then, social media as a whole kind of sucks sometimes, bro. But every now and then there's a night or something happens where we all Wonder Twin Power come together, man, and we unite. And that was one of those moments. And it was cool for about 12 hours just to watch everybody kind of lose their mind. And the fact that we got AJ Lee back before GTA 6.
Oh my God. You done brought a meme to NCW. This is why you hear it, TJ. I love that, man. I love it.
I'm just saying.
Also, bro, it's a multi-year deal. This is just a one-off thing. This is just a one-off thing. And you know what we like to do on here. And I know she got a feud. And there's a bunch of people online that are trying to figure out why people are excited about AJ Lee. Let me tell you something. AJ Lee is one of those superstars that a lot of people hold as ahead of her time. What would she do in this era where she would really be able to get down because she was so ahead of her time when she was there? She here now. She here and she's fit and she's ready to go, chomping at the bit. It's go time. And obviously they have this Seth and Becky thing to take care of. But man, when I think of what type of box office AJ Lee and Liv Morgan feud would be, when I think of just all the places that she can go now and what I remember her bringing in her short period of time, she fueled a generation.
Yeah.
In that little hiccup of time. This is the type of impact we're talking about. And we've brought it to the modern era, TJ. This is exciting news.
Very exciting, very dope. Much like, and again, you and I are both, we're the internet trash about Nikki Bella and nobody cared. Like you and I both, we lived through it. We're here to debunk. Is that the word? Debunk that? We're here to
debunk it, defunk it. Give it down.
There's a Bella army for a reason, folks. It wasn't you don't get an army not being popular. I ain't got no army. You know what I'm saying? All right. Nope. So the Bella army was a real thing. Don't stop trying to dismiss Nikki and Bree's role in
The
helping
impact.
build the brand of professional wrestling, right? And the same can be said when you look at AJ and you look at the amount of young girls, and I'm sure even boys too, of course, but I was particularly say the young girls that I know that I would see dressed up like her, looking like her. That impact it can't be minimized, man. It's incredible, and to have her back after 10 years, and it's funny. You and I, we rarely we when we talk about what we're going to talk about in the pod, we give each other like little cliff notes. But it's like you literally just went down the list without me telling you what I wanted to talk about, and you right there hit on dream matches. I have written down here dream matches, and just think of some. You named Liv, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'd say you have to think that this program's going to carry over to Mania, right? Simply because, and I said this to you when we had CM Punk on as our very first guest. If he brings AJ back and they do something with Becky and Seth, what we're talking about now, Shay, is for those four people, they now have their third or fourth vacation home, right? That's what this did. If they
Yeah.
have two vacation homes, this is going to buy them a third one. If they have three, this is going to buy them a fourth.
Another one.
If they had a boat, they're now getting a yacht because that's how much money. That's how this feud's going to play out. So you'd have to imagine this is going to go to Mania, right? You would think in some way, shape, or form. But think about after that, right, bro? You got Roxanne, maybe the number one AJ Lee stand out there. Lyra Valkyria I put this on our no contest or Twitter, as a matter of fact. In 2014, Lyra Valkyria posted a random picture of AJ Lee and a fan. And she says, it's AJ Lee and this girl who looks like she's about to cry, but I would cry too. That girl was a 12-year-old Roxanne Perez. Randy.
Come on now.
Come on.
It
And somebody
writes
found that.
itself.
Hey, somebody found that tweet from 2014. Lyra, Roxanne, Nikki. Remember, Nikki and AJ. Nikki was kind of like the anti-Total Divas girl back in the day. So, now you've got some history with Nikki and AJ there, right?
Yeah.
Becky, of course, we're going to have her. Bailey, Charlotte. Those three came up after AJ was gone. We never had a Charlotte AJ fight. We've never had Bailey and AJ.
Yeah.
We see Io, Asuka, Kyrie Sane. Come on. And then, we got to dig in the crate a little bit. We need Caitlyn back now, dog. We got to get Caitlyn back. Tamina got to come back now if AJ's back.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? We need Biggie and AJ back together at least at some point over the next year or so. So there's a lot of possibilities. And then all the girls coming up from NXT. Dude, like, as much as AJ wants to work, I'm sure every one of these girls wants to work with her. She's gonna be busy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Man, they gotta be drooling right now
Yeah.
just to see where you can go in so many levels, because not only is the in-ring ability there, but AJ will snap on your ass character-wise, man. That is, she what she call her? She call her fans weirdos or
Weirdos.
psychopaths. So, yeah, weirdos.
Weirdos.
Like, bro, come on, man. You just, when you have that type of talent and that the amount of anticipation that's built around her right now, it feels like a little bit like how I felt after that Survivor Series when Punk came back. Just like, man, where can we go? There's the obvious what needs to be done, which is obviously Seth and Becky. But man, there's some families will be fed with AJ Lee's return.
And let's not forget, my friend, in about, 15 months, Sister Tran is chomping at the bit right now to get back.
Oh, you want to talk crazy?
I don't know if they're going to be against each other. I don't know if they're going to be together, but she probably looked at Big Jim and was like, I know we wanted this, but really, you couldn't have waited like a month.
I know, man. Jim. I'm so happy for you, Jim. So happy for you.
But look, she kept calling for Big Jim to meet her in
TJ,
elevators.
it's a family show. It's a family show.
You know what I mean? Like, what's Big Jim supposed to do? Big Jim's just a man, bro. You know what I mean? He's just a man. He can't, the temptation was too great for Big Jim.
Bro, I'll never forget texting you and you telling me, obviously, he didn't proceed with caution.
By the way, I like to say I said that to you before the millions of times that was you. I said that immediately. Because we didn't know she was pregnant. We were just speculating before the actual announcement. And I said that to you like 2 days before. I was like, Big Jim didn't.
Obviously, you didn't proceed with caution at all.
Caution was thrown out the window with Big Jim.
Yeah, who cares? But, AJ Lee, welcome back. We are dying to have you on the No Contest Wrestling Podcast.
It's going to happen.
Phil, don't make me call you, bro.
He will call you, though.
I'll call him on the air. Don't make me call you, bro. I've only called him twice. We some texters.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna put that out there, man. We're gonna put the vibes out there. AJ Lee will be on this show at some point. I don't know when. Absolutely. I hope it's sooner than later, but I promise you, we're gonna get it. And just welcome back. Great moment. If you're not familiar with her, you will be soon. If you're not familiar with her, you're familiar with someone that she influenced also. And that's the other 100%. Thing, right?
Sure. Yeah, man. And also, WWE. We know every time on that YouTube channel, when you just happen to just drop a playlist to somebody, they're probably going to show up. So when I saw the AJ Lee playlist about a couple weeks or maybe a week or two before this, I said, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So thank you, WWE. We will be watching. WrestlePalooza, it seems like they're going to have that tag match. And also at WrestlePalooza, the Invisible Man will be going up against something horrifying, it seems like. It seems like they're gearing up for that. But let's talk about that Sami Zayn, John Cena match, because I actually was enjoying the damn match. I was actually having a good time. I loved everything that was happening. I loved going in. I was like, ain't no way they're about to make Cena lose. And then Sami just got the title.
Just got the belt. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's a bad look. Why are they doing this? And then they were like, Shay, how did you forget? And I was like, damn, I'm doing a movie. I'm sorry I forgot. But
listen,
I love John Cena giving a shout out to everybody that he maybe couldn't get one last real feud.
Yeah, right.
That was sweet. That was
shout
sweet.
Out to Kurt Angle hitting that angle lock. Shout out to Edge hitting the spear.
Yeah.
He hit the pop-up powerbomb. Last week. Styles Clash. Last week, he hit Baron Corbin's End of Days, Bishop Dyer.
Right.
Which is still, in my opinion, top 5 greatest finishers ever.
Nasty. It has everything. It has everything. You can do it out of anywhere, basically. You can get it off a rebound with the ropes. It's a slam, and you're using the momentum of the opponent. Like, come on, End of Days. And great name.
So Cena did that. And I think the heel turn was just to say he did it. And I think people have to be okay with, all right, we gave it a shot. But yeah, man, the Sami coming out, Sami made his main roster debut, if people don't know, against Cena, getting all hyped, going into the ring. As he's being announced, he's throwing his arms up and down. He popped his shoulder out before the match even started. Bret Hart was there. He had to tell Bret Hart to tell Cena that his shoulder was out. And then somehow Sami and Cena were able to put on a very good match seconds after Sami popped his shoulder out. So that was a nice nod for Sami to get that, and say he wants to do the U.S. Open Challenge again. Why not? Because Sami can go. I all of a sudden people were complaining about Sami Zayn too, Shay. Like, wait, what?
That's what do.
A lot of you people, man. A lot of you people.
Yeah. And it's like, number one, we have already gotten to the point where we know y'all will never be happy. Y'all will never be satisfied. There'll always be somebody. And you just got to block out that noise, because I'm not going to act like I've been a Sami Zayn fan the entirety of his WWE career. But then I realized every time I see this dude, I'm entertained. Every single time. They made him go up against Johnny Knoxville. And I loved it. I had the
That
time of my
match was
life.
so much fun, by the way.
Bro.
At WrestleMania, what, 38? Yeah, 38 in Dallas.
Dude.
Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn was fun.
Fun. I loved it. And so I'm like, every time I see this dude, I'm like, oh, Sammy. And then at the end, I'm like, damn, that was good. So I'm a hater. And that's not like me. That's not like me, man. So quit being a hater, man. Sami Zayn goes. And to put him up against John, we're wondering where it's going to go. John going through nothing but the hits and giving a shout out and kick out after kick out after kick out. And then you heard that guitar riff. Yeah, man. I completely forgot. Like, oh, yeah, Brock could come and ruin everything. And by the way, that just shows the power of AJ Lee because everybody's talking about AJ Lee and not Brock. I'm just saying. Well, yeah, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. We got word quick that AJ got a multi-year deal. We haven't heard nothing like that a bit with Brock. So this might just be for Cena. We don't know if this might be the last time we see Brock.
Look, and I don't know, you see these things on threads and X, but I did see a story that someone said that normally Brock will come into, if he's doing a show, he'll come in the day of that morning. Apparently, from what I read, he came in early this week because he wanted to make sure everything was right. So it tells you that, he, for the rap he gets, he wants to do right by John Cena, it appears. So they're going to do it right. And it's going to be interesting. Like I said, nice little throwback, nice little nod. Ohio Valley Wrestling class of 2002, I believe. I did a top 5 on the Rich Eisen show, I think earlier this year, which you can find on all ESPN platforms, by the way. But yeah, I did a top 5 of the top 5 greatest draft classes of all time, and the OVW class came in at number 4. We're talking Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Shelton Benjamin, Dave Bautista, and Randall K. Orton. Come on now, all in the same class.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's a great pickup.
Yeah,
they're gonna go at it. It's looking like, it's not fully announced, but all the things that we're talking about in this short amount of time are all teases for WrestlePalooza. And Brock and Cena is going down. The WWE is going to want to put on a major show for their first ESPN PLE. And I mean, we waiting on confirmation, but TJ, ain't no way we not gonna be there, right?
I mean, look, we're putting the word out.
Come on, man.
Fingers crossed.
I've been on the app, TJ. I've been on the app, and I look around, and I'm like,
there's always all this speculation on, I don't want to get into it with us and, who we cover and what we cover. We're in a position now where we're here and someone else is here. So we got to kind of stay here. And if you know, if you think about it, and if you really use your mind, you'll get it. And if you don't get it, then you don't get it.
All I'm saying, it's comfortable in the Mouse's house. Come on, baby. I'm using these Disney dollars.
And another thing too, man. I know that he's not your favorite guy right now, but I think it also says a lot, these returns, about Seth Rollins. Because think about some of the bigger returns that have happened in the last few years. WrestleMania 38, we just talked about. Dallas. Seth Rollins standing in the middle of the ring, doesn't know who his opponent is. All of a sudden, wrestling has more than one royal family. Cody comes back. Incredible pop. Who's right in the middle of that? Seth Rollins. SummerSlam 2023, Chicago, sitting there outside of the steel cage. You think the show's going off the air, and then here comes CM Punk, who's right there front and center, Seth Rollins. And then you've got AJ Lee coming back, one of the great pops of all time. And who's there up in the stands watching his wife take a crucial beatdown? Seth Rollins. He's just kind of like the Forrest Gump of the WWE, man. When something big happens, it seems like
Yeah.
Seth is right there.
And, like I said, I'm sure Colby Lopez is an amazing guy. I'm sure he's hilarious. I'm sure he's loyal and trustworthy. I'm sure he's a stand-up citizen in the community. But Seth Rollins, the character, I hate you, Seth. I hate your guts, bro.
You know what that reminded me of too, bro? The other day, a couple weeks ago, when I was like yelling at you about like, why are you calling Triple H Paul? You don't know him. And then you remember what happened? I got a text message.
Listen to this. This fool got on me on the show about calling Triple H Paul, which it says at the end of credits of every episode. And like, then after the cameras are off, he gets a text from Colby. In the phone, it says Colby. The pot calling the kettle himself.
See, the thing is, right?
Oh my God. Hold on, wait. I like to be comfortable when people lie to me.
I did worked with Colby. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I worked with Seth Rollins too, but at the end of those shows, it was Colby who said to me, "Hey man, take down my number." So that's, if he had said it during the show, that would have been Seth, right? But Seth didn't do that. But Colby, because we don't live far from each other in Los Angeles.
He said, "Hey man, what a flex!" We're almost done here. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're almost finished here.
When you saw that, I'm surprised we haven't even talked about it. So you just looked at me and you called me a word that would get bleeped out on Disney, but it starts with an N, and luckily it was with an A and not a hard ER, because
we don't do that.
We don't do that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. A naysayer. Anyway, one more thing. There's only one more match that they're teasing. Actually, right now we're recording this on Monday because of my filming schedule.
Yeah, actually, Raw is going on right now, and we're kind of missing out.
There's a little controversy with Stephanie Vaquer right now.
What is going on?
They say that she's going to be ready for the match, but the contract signing that was supposed to go down, they said it's not happening. It's not on Monday Night Raw. We turned the TV off, so we don't know what's happening right now as we speak. But that's still up in the air, bro. And I don't know if I want to see the winner between Stephanie and Io yet anyway. But, I need that match. I need it.
And also, I apologize to the friend of the show, Stephanie Vaquer. I didn't list her in this, AJ. Of course I want Stephanie Vaquer and AJ. I want Stephanie Vaquer to wrestle everybody. All right? Everybody. Like Gary Oldham said in, what movie was that? When he just yelled out, "That?" That one, yeah.
Jurassic Park?
No, that was
I don't really be knowing movies.
I'll tell you in a second.
Is our guest confirmed that you're going to be talking to?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to go way down under to get this guy, Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is entertainment, bro. He really is.
Bro, one of the best trash talkers. Crazy. He's got a crazy trap workout, too, on with Sheamus, dude. That dude's a beast. One of the best trash talkers that they got. One of the funniest heels that they got right now. Yeah, man. I'm
stomping the fans' phone the other day. Bro, first of all, him and New Day together. Him and New Day together is just the most random thing ever, right? And then Kofi comes out. Fan has his phone out. Kofi slaps the phone out.
Yeah.
Woods kicks it. Grayson steps on it. I'm like, yo, y'all are doing the most right now. Come on.
Back up. All right, get behind the rail. All right. That's y'all problem. Y'all trying to do too much. But very excited to see you conduct the interview with Grayson. Hopefully things work out and I can hop in, see what's going on. But I'm going to have a couple of questions. See, I've been to Australia a few times, man. I love some Australia, bro. Aussie. So I got some Australian questions for him. By the way, if anybody asks, I'm a Melbourne guy myself. Shout out to Adelaide, too. Adelaide, real nice. But Perth got the beaches. They also got the great white sharks. But, yeah, man.
I mean, Sydney's got Bondi Beach, bro, and their clothing is optional. I know this because I saw it.
TJ.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You're
you
different.
said it. Stay
I'm just
different, bro.
saying. You know what I mean? And by
All
the
right, well,
way,
if you could
I almost got kicked out of a club in Sydney for having Altoids that the doorman thought, I guess, was a tin of drugs. And I'm sure I'll probably share that story with Grayson Waller tomorrow. Yeah.
absolutely not
I
TJ
was,
Jefferson, not my TJ,
I was getting escorted out the building, bro.
not
Trust.
my TJ, bro. Well, I
So
know y'all
have
gonna
you,
have to
before we
chop this
go
up
though,
though. What?
have you ever told the people about the movie? I don't know if we just keep saying you're doing a movie, but I don't know if we
Yeah.
actually broke down a little bit who's in it with you. What can you share with us about this?
Yeah. Right now, the movie's kind of untitled, but what it's previously known under as is let's just say Shafids, if you guys remember that joke. And it's myself, my man Mason Thames, I believe that's how you say his last name. He played Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon in the live action one. He's in the film. Great kid. I love that dude. We both got Gerard Butler stories. And then my man Dave Franco, who's one of my best friends that I've received through this career of mine. And Peter Dinklage. I mean, who don't love Peter Dinklage? And it's a road trip comedy, and it gets crazy. Like, this is up there with Cocaine Bear for me, as like,
Oh, word.
it's just certain moments in the film where I'm like,
Just
my
ridiculousness.
God, this is wild. Yeah, like, this is crazy. We go through it a little bit, but as always, I'm gonna prevail. And it's funny, man. It's funny. My man Macon Blair is directing it. I love working with Macon so far. He is a director that knows what he wants, which makes work so much easier. And yeah, he let your boy improv, and I like that. I get to add a little bit of my own funny because writing comedy is already hard, and you don't know who's going to get the role, who you're going to be able to see. So you guys got to kind of meet in the middle, and Macon is such a collaborator. So I'm having a good time, man. Living just enough for the city.
Top man, love to hear that. Love to hear that. How much longer you got on this joint?
I will be back home and doing in studio NCWs October 1st. I will be back in LA, man. Not too far away. Not too far away.
All right, cool. Because Liz asked me about that today. We got to get a photographer for some stuff, and I was like, I think we'll be back the first week of October. So yeah, we'll have something. You
Liz,
all right, man.
Liz, TJ trying, all right? Don't get on TJ. You know how he is, all right? He got a good heart.
Listen, Liz and Sarah said they missed you today, by the way.
Oh!
And then I responded with bleep him. But anyway, yeah, so naysayer might have got thrown out there too. But listen, it's good to see you, my dog.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah, man. And so I guess right now what we'll do is we will head into the Thunder from Down Under. Is that weird to call him that?
Nope, it's not weird. It's not weird at all, man. But
do you have an intro for him?
No, that's your job. You conduct the interview, bro. But have a good interview, man. Kill it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you Grayson Waller.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, he is a Tim Tam tyrant, all right, a Vegemite villain from Australia, from Sydney to be exact. The Grayson Waller effect has graced the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. Former Tag Team Champion Grayson Waller, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit in your car. You're probably in a Wendy's parking lot, maybe Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. Thank you for taking your time to get in your car and do this today.
Yeah, I'm on a movie set, and I had to pull over to the side because I got a podcast that I do on the reg. So I made sure that I spent some time.
You're an assistant. Are you an assistant or something? That's awesome, man. Do you bring the waters?
Nah, I'm a principal actor. It's fine though.
Number one on the call sheet.
Yeah, I mean, it is
excellent,
what it is.
man.
You know what time it is.
That's cool.
But Grayson, you're one of the funniest superstars that they have back there, man. You put in a lot of work, not only inside the ring, but outside the ring. You're nothing but entertaining. But before we get into all that, we got to know, when did you get bit by the wrestling bug?
Oh, dude, I think I'm like a lot of the guys. I got bit young. I think I was like 7 or 8. I remember in Australia, I could only get WCW. So I remember seeing Sting was the first thing I saw. I don't know what it was about that. I don't know if it's the comic book element, just looks larger than life. But I got bit, and a lot of people grow out of it. You go through high school and stuff. Wrestling sometimes isn't the coolest thing, but I stuck with it, and I love it now more than probably I ever did.
And from what I understand, you were, even though your time as a permanent substitute, as you like to say, you still found time to hit wrestling shows. What's that like to have to? I mean, put the button up on and then go out and wrestle and then come back and do the same thing the next week.
Well, I think it's a great example of what Australian wrestling is. Like on an independent level, I think talent-wise, Australian wrestling is the same as everywhere in the world, even better. You look at the people who've come out like Bronson Reed, Rhea Ripley, Kyle Fletcher, who's killing it too. Like we had to work at the same time as we wrestled. We didn't have the opportunities because there's just not the money in it that it is overseas. So like I think me having to work all week and then on the weekend getting to wrestle, that was the fun part of my life. Like I was working so that I could wrestle on the weekend. That was fun. And we all have, those dreams of getting to big places, but it didn't necessarily seem realistic at the time. Rhea hadn't really knocked all the doors down that she has now, and Bronson too. So, I was doing it because I loved it. And lucky for me, I was super talented. I was super handsome, very athletic, and big things came from it.
Grayson, before we get too deep into your career, man, tell me about young Grayson coming up, man. What kind of kid you were? What kind of life did you have before you got into the business?
Yeah, I did everything. I was a guy who I wanted to make sure that I lived life. So even before I started wrestling, I'd traveled the world. I'd had a bunch of different jobs. I'd been to the States a few times. I used to work at Disney. I used to work in summer camps. And it was always just I just loved the American culture. I loved American sport. I loved American wrestling. Before I was actually training, I've been to PWG. I've been to Bowler. I've been to King of Trios. I've been to all the big independent shows in the States. So I was just doing everything I could to not live a normal life and, get a full-time job. Because in my head, once you get the full-time job, that's your life done. All of a sudden you've signed off, I'm doing that. So I was just doing everything I could to kind of keep that off. And luckily for me, I got to 25 and I was like, if I don't start trying for this wrestling thing, I'm always going to regret that I didn't do it. So I started a little bit later than most people, but I think that was an advantage because I had life experience when I started here. I'm not like some of these kids at 18 or 21 even at the PC now who don't really, know who they are yet. And they've got to go through all this and try and work out who they are. When I started wrestling, I knew who I was.
And I get what you were saying, man, because this Saturday was my anniversary of leaving Pennsylvania to move to Los Angeles. And, a guy showed up at my house on Monday, told me he was driving to LA the next Monday. And I decided that night I'm going to take a chance and leave. And I did the next Monday. So I feel what you're saying, man. Sometimes you got to make that move in order to chase the dream, or else you're going to find yourself stuck, I feel.
You have to. There's nothing worse in life than being the person who looks back and says, imagine if, what if I did that? I couldn't handle that type of regret. I'm fine with the regret of, man, I shouldn't have done that. I've said some stupid things. I've done some stupid things, but I'd rather do that than not do anything and kind of regret what could have happened.
Yeah, bro. I mean, 26 years ago, I got in that minivan and that led us to talking to you today. That was one of the best moves I ever made.
What a treat. It was meant to be. We were meant to be here today, I feel,
No doubt. No doubt. What you got, Shay?
26 years ago?
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
We're going to get into your sports choices in a second. But so, Grayson, talk to us. You said you started at 25. Talk to us about that welcome to wrestling moment. Either a bump that you took that knocked you on your ass or just that moment where you were like, yeah, okay, this is the new path we're on.
Man, so where I train from a place called PWA in Sydney. The head coaches are Madison Eagles, Robbie Eagles from New Japan, incredible coaches. And, at that school, it takes you 2 years before you actually debut on shows, which is unlike most places. In America, I see some of these American indie guys, I think they train 2 weeks and they're wrestling already, and that's why they're so terrible. So for me, the training was harder than the actual matches. When I'm getting there with a guy like Robbie Eagles, if he sees something in you, he's going to hit you as hard in training as he would on a show. So a lot of my early welcome to wrestling moments were at training. And then when I finally did get in the ring and start having these matches, it felt easy because I've done it all before. You know, I've trained hard, so this didn't seem as bad. So I feel very lucky that I came up in the way that I did. And even when I got to the PC a couple of years later, like everything felt comfortable, everything felt easy because I'd trained so hard and had the right coaching before. But the problem with wrestling is, man, and I see it. I help out a lot of the tryouts now with these college athletes, and my favorite part of the tryout is when they see someone get hit for the first time. We did some matches at SummerSlam with some of the independent talent. And when they see someone get hit for the first time, you see their whole expression change. All the fun and joking that they had about what wrestling is, like maybe it's a bit silly, changes when they see it because, we bring it. It sucks. Like, it's not fun. But that's part of the enjoyment. I love getting hit and I love hitting other people.
Well, yeah, speaking of hitting, you Golden Gloves boxer. Take us through your boxing journey, man. When did you start the sweet science, as they say?
Well, when I was I was a huge wrestling fan, but then when I got to like 17, 18, I really got into the UFC.
Okay.
I was obsessed with UFC. So I started training a bunch in like different martial arts. I did MMA for a while too. I trained with Rob Whittaker, former middleweight champ in the UFC. And I always loved it. I loved the competitive aspect, but there was just something missing. I don't know what it was. And so I never really kind of chased it the way I probably could have or wanted to. And it wasn't until I found wrestling that I was like, no, this is what I wanted. I think there was the entertainment and the fun aspect that I was like missing. Like, I'm a showman. I love to compete. I'm like unhealthily competitive, but there's something about the showman aspect of what we do that I like really clicks with me.
And it shows.
Take us through that. Like you said, when you first started your journey, there wasn't a lot of doors, broken down yet. What was it like getting that call that you would be a WWE superstar? And on top of that, you ever get in contact or your comments filled with anybody from your class and social media seeing that their teacher made it to the WWE?
Well, I got very lucky. I never had to do a tryout, which is a very rare thing. Kenyon Seaman, who was the kind of scout at the time, came to a show that I had in Sydney. We had a big tournament show. I wrestled Orange Cassidy on the show. I ended up winning the whole tournament, which is always a great look. But I went into that show knowing if I can take a job. If this guy sees me, that job's mine. Like, I'm not stressed about anyone else. And that was kind of the energy I had at the time. Like, I knew if someone could see me, I could take a job. And luckily he saw me. I got to chat to him properly. And all of a sudden, in a weekend, all of a sudden I'm going to WWE, which is all very crazy. And I was still teaching at the time too. Even now, again, I actually got a DM from one of my ex-students the other day. He said, "Hey, sir, can you please stop wearing jeans that are so tight? They look like they hurt." So I'm glad the kids have a bit of a good humor with them.
Kids still messing with you, huh?
Oh, ruthless.
Yeah, dude. It doesn't matter, man. Like, no respect for these kids. But, I think it's cool. I got to go back to my high school that I taught at and actually went to school at last year. And I got to talk to the kids and kind of, I think I'm a great example of, like, doesn't matter what your dream is or what you want. Like, if you chase it and you work hard, like, these things can happen. So I'm hoping some of these kids, whether it's, they want to be an actor or a streamer or whatever it is, like, they can make it happen, but they just got to put the grind in.
Man, Grayson, if only you were more confident, man, you'd probably get further in life. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You know what I mean?
And it shows, man. Like I said, just you can tell some people say they just, when you have confidence in yourself, I think that holds a lot of people back, right? A lot of people just don't believe that their dreams can be attained or they can do things. And, when you have that confidence in yourself, I truly feel like it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, the best advice I've ever got was from Nigel McGuinness a couple of years ago when he was commentating with us, where he said, I asked him some advice on a match and he said, I don't believe you think you're the best. I believe that you think you need to train harder and need to learn more. And he goes, when Muhammad Ali was fighting, he didn't think that way. When Muhammad Ali was fighting, the whole time he was in there, he was the best in the world. He carried him that way, and that's why he was so good. And I think that was fantastic advice because, as wrestlers, there's always vets around and people better than us and people who've done it longer and you want to learn and all these things. But like when you're in the ring, that's all got to disappear. And I think that energy of I'm better than everyone is very dangerous in a good way.
No doubt. Shay, what you got?
Absolutely. Now, we love when we have guests on the show who grew up wrestling fans. So we've had a few that found it later in life. But when you talk to superstars who grew up as fans, you're able to answer this question. Let me know, as a fan, when did wrestling break your heart?
Oh, damn. When did wrestling break? This is such a gross Mark response, but I handed in my fan card, so I can talk about my former life. I remember when I was 18, I was a huge Ring of Honor guy. I loved Ring of Honor. Like, as I said, Nigel's a huge guy, but I remember Bryan Danielson came to Sydney, and I bought front row tickets. Like, I was like, this is going to be sick. And it was Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. Like, the classic Ring of Honor feud is going to come to Sydney. And he came out to Final Countdown. I'm 18 in the front row. Like, this is the best day of my life. And then he shut down the song right when it got to the big part where he gets up on everyone chants Final Countdown. And Bryan Danielson cut it off. I was so angry. I was chucking streamers at his head. Like, not even, you're supposed to rip him out, make it look nice. I was just pegging him at his head. I had good accuracy too, so I was getting him. That was the first time where I was like, I look back now and I'm like, damn, that was good from him. He's very good at what he does. So maybe I learned something that night.
Hell yeah. Helping him with streamers is crazy.
It's crazy, man. And we always like to do this too, Grayson, for people that watch us. If you guys don't know about the two names, you should know one for sure. But if you don't know the other name he mentioned, go on YouTube. Look up some of these matches, which are honestly some of the greatest wrestling matches of all time between McGuinness and Danielson. So,
bro, that one where Nigel headbutts the ring post is just like the most insane. That was one of the moments where you watch wrestling, and even if you've watched all the wrestling, you watch that and you're like, man, I don't understand how someone like does this. Like, that just changed my perspective on wrestling. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's dope. Hitting Bryan Danielson with streamers.
Yeah, he deserved it too. I'll do it again too. I ain't stressed. I'll hit him with more streamers this time.
Absolutely.
Here's the deal. I believe you. Like, there's no part of me that believes you won't do it again. So, given the opportunity. You did something that millions, and I think that's safe to say, over the last 25 or so years, you did something that millions of people have tried to do, but a very few have been successful, and that's try out and make it on Survivor. Tell us a little bit about that journey. How'd that start? Yeah. What made you go, man, let me do this, and then getting the call that you actually made the show?
I'm very good at what I do. So I looked at my wrestling career and I looked at Australian wrestling, and I was like, how do I break out? Because the independent audience in Australia is very small, and it doesn't matter how good you are. There's still this audience and you can't break out. So I was like, I need to do reality TV. I know reality TV is a great way to get your name out there. So I didn't want to do the dating shows or anything like that, because at the time I was a high school teacher. That's not great to be on a dating show.
And that would have been too easy for you.
It would have, I would have won every single one.
Come on.
But I was always a fan of Survivor. I loved it. And I was like, there's something about wrestlers in reality, because I think we're so good at just being ourselves and being over the top and making great television that, same as before, I knew if I get on this show, if I get an interview, I'm on the show. And so I got the casting agent. I went to the interview, and it's like a big group interview with 10 people. And you kind of play Survivor, like a mini version, to see what you'd be like. And everyone was so nice and polite. And they were all like, this is my dream since I watched it with my grandmother growing up. I love it. And it got to me, and I went down the line and I was roasting all these people that were there. I was talking about their clothes, or some guy in a zebra t-shirt because he had no personality. There was this old mom who was just clutching onto life, and she may as well just give it. I just went as hard as possible at the people. And that's what got me on the show, because I don't mind being a prick. I'm real. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fake being the nice guy. And it worked out well, and I got to spend 30 days in the Fijian jungle. I lost 40 pounds, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was really fun.
That's cool, man.
Now, you're great at the villainy, bro. You're really good at what you do. But there's a moment where I was like, wow, just as a wrestling fan, I need to know, what's it like to leave Triple H hanging in the middle of the ring?
No, Shay, I think we should set this up a little for people who might not know. WrestleMania, you win the tag team championships with Austin Theory. You guys,
who was that? I'm not sure. I don't remember who it was with.
Yeah, you had you had a partner. I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember. I don't think he's around anymore, so that's okay.
Well, he's not here right now, so that's not what we're even talking about. But what we are talking about is you guys got awarded brand new tag team belts, titles, whatever you want to call them. And there's a ceremony in the ring, as O'Shea said, and Triple H was presenting you and maybe the other guy or whoever was with you with these belts. And then, Shay, that's where your question comes in.
Yeah, man, you left Triple H's hand hanging, and then you even went in for the pump fake and got him again. I need to know what that moment is like, and then what's your favorite disrespectful encounter you've had with a legend thus far?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because obviously Triple H is the boss. So this is a very risky thing to do on the boss. You know, at the end of the day, he's signing the paychecks. He's making a lot of big decisions. But one thing that I enjoy about wrestling is people who don't mind being disrespectful. Because, man, I get so bored with everyone is running backstage to get the Triple H point photo. Like, they won a championship. They don't even care about the championship. Hunter, please point at me, Hunter, please. Like, it's kind of sad. Like, I don't know. I find it kind of cringe. So
I like this guy, man.
I earned the tag team championships. You know, I put in a lot of work for that moment. I climbed the ladder. I got that championship down. You know, I felt like I deserved to have the floor that day. But as always, you know, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, Triple H, they love to get themselves on camera. They like to make it about themselves. They want to make sure they're front and center. So I felt, you know, I'm going to take this moment back. And it was a risk, and, you know, I'm lucky I didn't get pedigreed. And who knows, one day I might take a pedigree because he probably hasn't forgotten about it. So I think it's fun getting to mess with the legends sometimes because, you know, they all expect for us to bow down and kiss their feet and that type of thing, and that's not something I'm going to do. I've always said the best way to show respect to the legends is to get in there with them and compete and show them. And that's what I found works best for me. You know, Shawn Michaels is a guy, like I said, some extremely disrespectful things to Shawn, and that's probably the most fun I've had on television. Was very few people in our generation get to say they got to stand in a ring with Shawn Michaels, and I did, and I didn't hold back. Same against John Cena. You know, I'm not the guy that's going to go out there and kiss their ass. I'm going to go out and go as hard as possible, and I think that's the most respectful way that you can treat them.
Grayson Waller.
This dude,
my goodness,
this guy is quickly becoming.
I think it's like anything else. It's like the NFL. You know, you go in and you're playing against your hero. You're playing against Tom Brady. Like, well, you're just going to let him roll over the top of you? Like, that's why he's a legend, because people treat him with too much respect. I think Tom Brady is the kind of guy who wants you to play as hard as possible, and you have a competition. And I think a lot of the vets that we have at WWE right now are like that. You know, they don't want you to just bow down to them. They want you to go up against them. They want to see who wants the torch. The torch isn't being handed down at the moment. The torch is standing there waiting to be taken.
Like that. You know, when we speak legends, it means when you speak of legends, you think of times in the past. Times in the past make me think of history. I know you're a big history buff. What is it about history that you love, man? What is your favorite part of history? Is there a specific time that you like to read about and learn about?
No, but I'm always a guy. I like stories, and I think history is just like very interesting to look back on, you know, and especially even now with wrestling. Like, wrestling's my life. I just spent 4 days on the road. We're all over the place, waking up early, so sometimes it's nice to take your mind off. And history's kind of a thing, you know, especially like all the war. Greek history was always my favorite. I love learning about the Spartans and all these things, and I think you can learn a lot about life from looking back at history. You know,
absolutely.
I think people are too focused on going on TikTok and listening to some 20-year-old bloke with a terrible haircut giving them advice. You know, I'm the kind of guy, I'm going to go back. I'm going to learn from the greats of history. And I think that gives me an advantage over a lot of people.
Oh,
yeah, that was deep, right?
I know.
That was deep. You didn't expect that from Grayson Waller.
No, actually, I got to be honest. I did expect that. Look, this as a teacher, man. I am expecting like deep introspective and also.
Once a teacher, always a teacher.
Always a teacher. You're teaching these fools in the ring every day.
Yeah, dude, it comes out sometimes, you know. It's been a long time since I taught, but even like when I got to go to the tryouts and stuff, like I love getting back in there and getting to work with new talent. We did a run of house shows on the weekend for NXT up in South Carolina and Georgia, and it's like the teacher in me is still there. I love when people come up and they ask questions, they want to know what's going on, like, and I think that's where you kind of work out who wants it, you know, who really wants it and who's the next generation, because I love working at NXT, and I like to know who's coming next, because I got to make sure I have a strategy to make sure they're not next, and they wait down there for the next few years and they let me have my shine first.
Now, I know you're a proud countryman. You know, I've seen you speak about how You're not a fan of when Australians get back home and then they try to talk down to just play the heel role. You love your country. And, you guys have if I'm not mistaken, TJ, that's the 15th that they're going to go to Melbourne.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, the Super Show, right?
Yeah.
Super Show
Sir, there
Australia,
it is
October
right there.
15th. Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about, first of all, shout out to Melbourne. I love Melbourne. But talk to us about that moment you had with Rhea. I believe it was in Perth when you got to do the shoey. Tell me a little bit about that moment. You said it was one of the proudest moments of your career.
Yeah. First of all, Australians getting cheered. Like that's not something that happens very often. So I've got to enjoy it when it does happen. But like, I think the shoey is such a ridiculous thing that it kind of perfectly encapsulates Australian culture. And I remember being up there. The producer came on stage and like whispered to me like, "Hey, are you okay if Rhea does the shoey with you?" And I was popping huge because like I had no idea that Rhea was even going to do it, and I was like, "Of course!" Like I think that was a great way for like the Australians who were at that show to kind of have a moment together. Sometimes that doesn't happen. There's only a few of us. Right now on the main roster, it's myself, Rhea, and Bronson. So that whole weekend was very cool and it's very exciting. Next month we've got 3 shows in Perth and then another one in Melbourne. So it's a lot of wrestling in Australia, and I'm excited to go back and hopefully get in the ring this time. Last time I had to put over Cody and Seth and help them out and, give them the Grayson Waller rub before they headed on to Mania and doing big things. And so this time I'm ready to fight in Australia.
Let's be honest, without that rub, Shay, those two probably wouldn't be where they are right now. So
you think Cody could have finished the story without me? Cody only finished the story because I put him in the position to finish the story. I'm a teacher. He's American educated. It's hard to read.
Now, like I said before, I like Melbourne. I've been around Australia quite a bit. I've got a couple of my favorite places. Let the viewers who might be lucky one day to go to Australia know some hot spots. What's some cool stuff to do in your country, and why is it one of the best in the world?
Yeah. So Melbourne's I always say Melbourne's very hipster. Melbourne's the cool place in Sydney. If you like coffee shops and speakeasy bars and all that type of stuff, live sport, Melbourne's the place to go. If you love the beach and you want to go outdoors and stuff, Sydney's the best place. I think Sydney's the best place in the world. I've gone to a lot of beaches in Florida and across America, and these aren't beaches, man. It's just all wet sand and old people. It's not my kind of vibe for a beach. I like going to a nice beach. So Sydney's the place for that. And even in Perth, we got very lucky when we go there. With the tourism board in Perth takes us all over the place. So when we went last time, me and Rhea went surfing, we went dune bugging, we were all over the place. So Australia's a gorgeous place, and I think more people need to go. The problem is it's just so far away. Yeah. That's my frustration. Yeah. I wish I could go home more, but it's so far away that I get stuck here.
Yeah, I did, and I mispronounced it. I did get to go to Bondi Beach in Sydney, and I tell you, I walked around in awe because it was a beautiful sight, some beautiful scenery. Wow. That was a good time. That was a very good time.
We're both reading the same language here. Bondi's a very pleasant place to be.
Hey, if I can be on the same page as Grayson Waller, Shay, I think I'm doing something all right.
You're doing great. You're doing great, brother. You're doing great.
I got, like I said, I got to spend some time in Sydney. Had a beef pie. That was awesome. That was good food. And Grayson, I also almost got thrown out of a club for having a tin of Altoids because the bouncers thought that they were drugs. And so I had to, the one guy grabbed me by my shirt and start walking me out. And I'm like, bro, and he takes me to another bouncer and he was like, bro, these are breath mints. And then we all had a big laugh. The guy's like, hey, you treated me like a gentleman. I treat you like a gentleman. You come in. If you have any problems, you ask for me. My name is Will, like Will Smith. And we all had to laugh, and I went back and had fun.
But dude, the thing is, Australian bars are different to American bars. American bars, there's no rules. You can walk in with hat on, shorts. You can be just passed out drunk, and they don't even care. Australia is very strict. You trip at any stage, you're out of the bar. As fun loving and crazy as we seem, Australian bars, you can't really get away with much. So I'm not surprised they try to get rid of you real quick. They're looking for reasons to get rid of people. America's a different breed. There's just no rules at the bars here.
Yeah, like I said, I'm lucky the other bouncer knew what they were, and they let me back in, and a good time was had that night.
Good for you. Because of the breath mints. Because of the breath mints. Because you had so many. Because I've heard stories though, bro. Like some of the girls who've talked to you, like the breath is a no go.
No, Grayson,
you've been taking them out. That's helpful.
One thing they will always tell you, Grayson, is I smell good and the breath stays fresh. That is the only thing I can really say. Like,
good boy, TJ.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that personally.
I keep the cologne on me at all times. You know what I mean?
Okay. I get it. You're a sweaty dude. You know, you gotta make sure you're fresh. I
got it right here. You never know when you might hit the squat. You know what I mean?
Dang, you really did have it. Hey, you a beast. That's my dog right there. All right, now just in case,
like Tom Ford right now, boys. Come on, let's go.
I get pulled. Just in case I get pulled, I want to get our number one question out of the way, Grayson, because I'm very interested in what you have to say about it. Now
we need background actor number 7. Background actor number 7 to set.
No, please. They never care about number 7. Trust me. But so this is a situational based question. You're in a bar, 50 dudes in that bar, and they don't want you in there.
Bunch of uneducated people in these bars.
Okay.
That's right. I need you to pick a team of you and 4 other superstars to make sure that Grayson Waller stays in effect.
Well, number 1, hands down, Fit Finley. Fit Finley's in the squad. You know,
I've heard stories.
That's not negotiating. I've seen Fit recently, and he still is the toughest guy that I've ever seen in my life. But I'm actually going to switch the question up on you, because I actually have a real story where I had almost a bar fight, and I had 3 people step up. So I'm going to put them into my team.
Let's go.
Okay.
So
this is WrestleMania 40. After I won the tag team championships, we go back to the hotel bar. And sometimes when WrestleMania stuff happens, the fans know what hotel we're at.
Always.
So we're trying to have a good time and chill, and all these fat flops in black shirts and who stink are just like roaming around trying to grab you and all that. It's the worst. It's so
probably
frustrating.
all Eagles fans too, Grayson. That was.
Hey, careful what you're saying. I'm trying to give you a cool story here. You wait your turn. You wait your turn here. And so there was a guy who kept like just trying to grab and touch and talk to some of the NXT girls. And they're telling me, this guy's bothering us. So I went up to the bar to talk to him. And I was like, hey, can you leave the girls alone? They're trying to have a good night. And this guy was very drunk. He starts firing back at me. He goes to push me. And I'm like, man, I just won the tag team championships. I'm going to get in a fight at the bar at WrestleMania. This is going to be the story. But I have to, like, if he's going to, all of a sudden, first person that walks up next to me, Shayna Baszler. She's like, is everything all good here? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is now.
Then as she's talking to me, MVP walks up next.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Now I'm feeling pretty good, you know? Then Josh Barnett, who I must admit, I've never met Josh Barnett. Like, I know of him. I know he's a badass. He steps up next and goes, is everything all right here, guys? I sat down at the bar and I just looked at the guy like, hey, I'm good. Like, Shayna Baszler, MVP, Josh Barnett have my back. There isn't a man alive who I think can mess with this team of 4. So I almost had like my own super team at the bar at WrestleMania, and that guy, he disappeared real quickly, which was nice. So I think I actually had a real life team of 4 War Games bar team.
Man, I'd love that story.
Dude, TJ, if I'm not mistaken, that is what, the 3rd or 4th time Shayna Baszler has been brought up.
At least the 4th time. Yeah, Punk mentioned her the very first show we did. Our very first episode was with Punk, and the very first question, the very first person to answer that question, and he put Shayna on this team, and it makes sense.
He put Shayna on his team. Yeah.
You know what it is? I think it's the wrestling thing, where it's like, I've never met Josh Barnett. I know MVP a little bit. You know what I mean? Shayna are cool, but like, it didn't matter in that situation. They saw a wrestler who was getting involved in a situation. They're handling it with you. Like, I love that about the brother and the sisterhood that wrestlers have together. Like, even if you don't know the person, if someone's going to stand up, they're going to. So that's a cool moment from WrestleMania weekend that I'm going to remember.
That's pretty dope, man. And
that's sick.
And I'm sure that guy woke up the next morning like, what did I just do? What did I almost do?
Bro, you almost got your ass jumped.
You almost got torn to pieces is what you
To be fair, if you're a wrestling fan, though, that's the best story. You tell everyone that story. Hey, I was grabbing on the NXT girls, and then Josh Barnett tried to fight me.
Right.
I don't know if you want those problems, though, man. That's the thing. So
wait, TJ, you opened up this can of worms, so now I gotta ask.
I bet.
All right, now, brother, I know you from Australia, man, but I need to know. Because it's about to get really ugly right now. You see, my brother TJ over here, is a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. And me, myself, I'm a fan of the
What you laughing at?
17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers. So I need to know, when did you and how did you and why did you become a Philadelphia Eagle and a Sacramento King? Are you really a Sacramento Kings fan?
So I will say Wikipedia's lied to you about the Kings. You know, I
Oh,
collect
thank
basketball.
God.
Yeah, I collect
Oh, my
basketball
God.
jerseys. I collect basketball jerseys, so I like getting some old school ones. So, you know, a J. Will Sacramento Kings jersey.
White chocolate.
That's
Oh,
pretty
solid.
fresh. That's a fresh jersey.
Yeah.
I actually
Solid.
gave one to Jacob Fatu too, because those boys rep Sacramento. So
Yep.
with the NBA, I'm pretty chill. But Philly, like, I've been accused of being like a bandwagoner because Philly's good all of a sudden. But like, I'm not Cody Rhodes. You know, I don't just swap teams. It's when I heard that story about Cody, man.
Yeah, but what was the
'Cause,
story? Fill us in.
Cody said that he changed up teams after he did some WrestleMania media stuff, and then he's like, okay, I'm an Eagles fan now. They took care of his daughter and stuff because the Eagles are such a fantastic organization. But when I was a teenager, I started playing Madden, and I was repping Donovan McNabb, and Donovan McNabb was sick. And basically, I just kept the team from there because it's way more fun having a team. And, you know, it's just so fun every year to put belts to ass to the Dallas Cowboys. You know, that's always fun. Like, it's just like twice a year you get guaranteed wins. Like, isn't that a beautiful
first of all,
thing?
that's not even true, Grayson Waller. That's not true.
Okay, here we
true.
go. When was your last Super Bowl win? That's all I need. If you give me the last Super Bowl win, I'm happy.
I mean, we still got 3 more than you guys do, and you're illustrious. So it's been a long time, but what's taking you guys so long to catch up?
When did we get this picture?
Who asked for this?
Champ.
I didn't ask for this picture. Who put
my
this up?
goodness.
Get that picture
TJ,
on the screen.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
That's beautiful. We went to Cosm. I don't know if you guys have heard of Cosm in Dallas. It's that awesome thing where you go and it feels like we went there for the Rumble. And they gave me a mic in Dallas, and I'm just like, I don't think you know what you've done here. And it's just like, that's my favorite stuff when I get to go to somewhere like Dallas. Like, we had our best player, one of our best players, Jalen Carter, left the field because Dak Prescott's a bit of a wuss.
Oh, okay. So
won.
you can just go
goodness.
spit on people now. You're better than that, Grayson Waller. You're better than that.
Dak, where were you spitting? Very close, very close. But I forgot, Dak doesn't have very good accuracy, so we missed him. It's kind of like he's like football player, you know what I mean? He would have hit him if he was a better player.
You are being very disrespectful to the.
Am I wrong though?
Yes, you're very wrong. By the way,
Jalen Carter, dude, so much.
Jalen Carter got fined a game check for that. You know what I mean? So hopefully he keeps.
He's only going to be worth $25 million now. The poor brother must be struggling. He's probably crying at home.
Times are hard, Grayson Waller. You know that. You know how taxes and things like that over here. Government always trying to take theirs.
Hey, I'd give him a game paycheck to spit on Dak Prescott. I'd be fine with that.
Oh, man, this is one thing you and I are just not going to agree on, Grayson Waller.
Wow.
We've been here so far, but yeah, this one I can't. Not the Eagles. Not the
okay.
That was amazing.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see you later in the season. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're going to take that L back, or give you the L this time, I guess I should say. Hopefully. God, if
oh,
you're
no,
listening.
we're going to go 14-3. What a terrible season.
Man, you and Nikki Bella should talk about this because she's another Eagles fan who likes to talk trash and
yeah, you know what I loved? So we went to Philly recently, and obviously Nikki's a big Eagles fan. Mm-hmm. Nikki Bella's awesome. And Cooper DeJean's in the front row. So I'm popping, and Big Dom. I'm like, I'm going to go say hello to him. I said, what's up? Now, I'm wearing like a very questionable ripped jean version of black overalls. So I'm, you know, if you don't know wrestling, I'm looking pretty wild out there. So I don't think Cooper had any idea what was going on. Me and Kofi tried to mess around with him. Yeah. I have a feeling maybe Nikki Bella, you know, had mentioned the show was on, and Cooper DeJean all of a sudden was like, I'm definitely going. I wonder why, Cooper. I wonder why you wanted to go to the show. It makes sense. I don't think he was there. I don't think he was there to see us perform. I think he was there to see, you know, the Bella in action, and that's fair enough. Fair play, Cooper DeJean. You're a good man.
But hey, look at it this way, Grayson. You come to see Nikki Bella, you leave with an appreciation for the Grayson Waller effect. So hey, however it gets done, right?
Exactly. I don't know if he appreciated it too much, you know, but that's okay because he took an intercept in the Super Bowl, and he's forgiven for life for that.
Look, you've been disrespecting my favorite team, and I still have an appreciation. I don't know. Again, why are we showing these pictures? Nobody called for these.
Hey,
it's a really cool picture.
What is happening?
That is a cool picture, and I can't wait. You know, I think we're going back to Kansas City again soon, and I very much enjoyed going to Kansas City recently and getting to hold up the Super Bowl championship that I had in front of that city. Like, I hate Kansas City. I can't stand them.
Well, guess what?
Oh man,
that game's coming up next week. So
Yeah,
get ready.
That's a big, and in Arrowhead too. So maybe I should enjoy everything that I've said now, just in case, because Kansas City's looking good this year too. So who knows? But I think we're gonna whip them again now.
Oh, by the way, TJ.
Yes, sir.
Just so you know, I did win my first fantasy football week, thanks to Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. I just want to let you know, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, you want to hear about a conundrum, Grayson Waller? You know how I feel about the Eagles, obviously. Starting quarterback on my fantasy team is Jalen Hurts. So I had to, while he's scoring on the Cowboys, I had to sit there and try to process this. Like, this is bad for real. Okay, in fantasy. Again, with these pictures that I'm not asking for. I'm losing control here.
Bro, Jalen is the man. Like, I love how much sports media talks about him and won't give him his flowers, and I don't think he could care less.
Nah.
He just keeps turning up. He has every press conference, he has some phrase or statement that is like one of the coolest things I've ever heard, where it's like a life lesson. Like, I think Jalen Hurts is the man. I think he's going to bring a few more Super Bowls to Philly.
Like I said, I'm not a fan of the team, but I am a fan of that man. He does things the right way. And like you said, people are refusing to give this man his props. And I don't know what more he needs to do to get it. And like I said, that's hard for me to say, being as, I'm a Cowboys fan. But
I appreciate your honesty. Thank you for your honesty. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I respect the player. You know what I mean? I definitely do.
Now, one more thing from me, because I got to get up out of here.
Number 1 on the call sheet, Grayson, not number 7.
Yeah, come on, dog.
Number 1.
Come on.
They just put out catering, brother. He's just hungry. I understand.
Bro, I'll get you tickets in Premier, man. Don't you worry. But so in the beginning,
what's wrong with this guy, man?
Bro, he's off his rocker, man.
He's on one. I love it.
You talked about how far Australia is and how you'd wish you could go home a bunch of times. Earlier, for those who don't know, TJ, a Tim Tam, I put a Tim Tam up against a Twix probably any day, and I love Twix.
I love
Vegemite
Twix.
is disgusting.
Yeah.
If you had to put together a care package of stuff from Australia for yourself right now to be dropped off at your house, what do you need?
See, I'm against you with the Vegemite thing, man. A former tag team partner of mine that I don't even know what happened to him. He's kind of gone, but that's okay. Got me a tub of Vegemite that I finally just got out of, and so I need more. I'm telling you, if you don't like Vegemite, you haven't done it properly. You just get a light spread with some smashed avocado on top, like that. That hits. Actually, Bert Kreischer, we got to do his show recently.
Hey, Grayson, I don't want to interrupt you.
With Vegemite. No, please.
Bert Kreischer, I work on the Rich Eisen show. We're a national sports TV show on ESPN. Yeah. Bert Kreischer was just left the studio maybe an hour ago. He was in here.
Bert was there today.
Well, I meant to call you, but yeah, he came in today. Yep, it was great. I'll send you the interview, both of you.
Bert is the man. Bert chokeslammed me, which was very disrespectful to do in my ring.
Yeah.
But when we went and did his show, he cooked for us, and he did Vegemite with smashed avocado on top. I was very impressed. So now I've been very into that. As you said, Tim Tams are the go-to, because the chocolate in America is terrible.
What?
Hershey's and all this stuff. I'm telling you. When you get some dairy milk in you,
fire,
some actually
TJ.
proper milk chocolate, it'll change your life. I don't know what it is in all the American food. It's just not the same. So I get all the chocolates that are available. They're going to be there. And for a country with so many heavyweights, it's crazy that the chocolate is so poor here.
Yeah, I have had a Tim Tam when I went down there. I got to admit, I do
Tim
recall
Tam's fire, bro.
being pretty good.
Tim Tam Slam, have you tried that?
No, what's that?
No.
The Tim Tam Slam is you take a bite off the top and the bottom, and then if you have a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate or something, and then you drink it through the Tim Tam.
Oh, like a
because
straw.
the wafer is thin enough, and you drink the coffee through the Tim Tam. Bang.
Oh,
You're
that's
welcome.
hard.
That's the Grayson Waller
right
effect.
there.
That's the Grayson Waller effect.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Now I know. Now, to any, if we have any friends, any fans in Australia, ship us some Tim Tams, man. I want to try.
Come on, dog.
All 7 fans in Australia, come on, guys. Let's send some Tim Tams. We're ready to go.
Come on, baby.
Well, we had 7 until today, and now that you've been on, we might have 4. But listen, the thing is, let me ask you a question, Grayson Waller. Australian wrestlers, give me a Mount Rushmore of Australian wrestlers.
Yeah, damn. You put it aside. So, number 1, I think, has to be Rhea, just because she's completely changed the industry is in Australia. And she's not just... she's got Drake talking about her, saying that she's his muse and all this stuff. That's next level world expansion stuff. So I think Rhea, no matter what, And that's just her outside the ring. Then you talk about what she does in the ring. Like, I think Rhea's one of the best wrestlers that I've ever seen.
Sure.
Somehow is still the most like grounded and relaxed individual I've ever met in my life, despite all the popularity. So she's got to be on there. There's another lady, Madison Eagles, who was ranked number 1 in the world. I still think she's the best female wrestler of all time. If you haven't seen Madison Eagles before, she was kind of Rhea before Rhea. She was super tall. She was jacked. She would come to America, and she's basically any of the Australian women that have come since have kind of come because of her. So Madison's got to be on there.
She related to Robbie Eagles?
So they're wrestling related, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
But Robbie, as my coach, I got to put him on there too. And Robbie's still killing it in New Japan. He's super talented. I got to get in there with a few times with him, and he's just so good at what he does. And I just wish more of the world could see Robbie. And then I think I have to be on there. I think I am a different variation of what the Australian wrestlers do. I brought the entertainment aspect. I think I brought the true larrikin Australian nature to wrestling. You know, wrestlers from Australia have always been badasses. Look at Bronson Reed. He's a badass. Look at what he's doing to Roman Reigns like he's nothing.
Took his shoes.
I'm a different variation of that. He took his shoes, as he should. In Australia, we don't wear shoes. We don't need them. But I think I'm going to put myself there because I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk like an Australian. I'm going to walk like an Australian. I'm going to carry myself with that confidence. And I think I kind of embody the Australian spirit and the banter that we have a little bit. And I'm too talented not to put on that Mount Rushmore.
Love it. I love it. Grayson Waller, since you are, I'd say we consider you.
Wait a minute, damn it! I gotta go. I want to say bye.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Hit him up.
Yeah, Grayson, bro, I appreciate you, man. You're always welcomed on the show. You're a beast, like we said. You entertain us out the ring all the time, especially on Twitter. As a guy who loves to cuss people out on Twitter, bro, I salute you, man. You the man, bro. So thank you for your time, and I'll see y'all later, man.
All right, man.
Pleasure.
Enjoy it.
Thanks, buddy.
Like O'Shea said, we consider you no contest family now, man. So we're going to let you know where we keep the key when you come into that Los Angeles. Just come take the guest room. But we also have something at the no contest house in the garage. We got a time machine. I don't know if you knew this.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I'm going to loan you this time machine, bro. And I want you to travel back in time. And I want you to pick 5 superstars from any era that you want to bring to present day and have a WrestleMania main event with.
Okay, damn.
That could be, and like I said, from any era, bro.
Any era. I think if number 1 on your list isn't Shawn Michaels, you don't really know what you're talking about. And for me, that's more of a personal thing, you know, getting to work with Shawn so much in NXT and get to be across from him a few times. Like, I would love to test myself against Shawn because I think Shawn's the best wrestler of all time. So he's on there. I think Eddie Guerrero is going to be on there. Ooh. You know, getting to kind of hang out with Dom a fair bit and be close to Dom and his stories about Eddie and just watching his stuff. Like, Eddie is incredible. Yeah. So, like, I think that would be a lot of fun. Who else are we going to go back? Man, there's so many. The thing is, at the moment, like, you look at the Raw and SmackDown roster, like, we have some of these legends that we want to get in with. So, like, some of them, like, I want to fight CM Punk. I want to fight CM Punk so bad. I want to have the microphone next to CM Punk. You don't even need to time travel him. He's just sitting there waiting. He's just spending too much time with Seth Rollins. You know, we've got to try and drag him out of that, and they two got to stop fighting. I want to see what Punk's really about. That's one of my dreams, just because he's on the mic, man. There's no one better. And if someone who prides himself on their microphone ability, I want to test myself against CM Punk because I know he's not going to hold back at all. Yeah. He's going to say whatever he thinks, and that's something that doesn't really exist anymore.
That's going to be a nice, 4 weeks of promo battles build up to that match. I'd love that.
Oh, dude, it's Sydney. I got a lot to say about CM Punk, but we'll save that for the day that it needs to be said. You know what I mean? I've been saving that for a long time. I'm going to put Fit on there too, man. Fit Finley is like, if you're a real wrestling fan, like, you know how good Fit is. I think Fit Finley is every really good wrestler, their favorite wrestler is Fit Finley. And even if you see him at the PC still, you know, he's a little bit older now, but he's still so sharp. And so everything he does is so effortless and it's terrifying. Like, if you ever see him get in the ring with anyone, like when he's moving them around, like, Fit's crazy. Fit's scary, even at his age now. So, like, I'd love to get in there and have, you know, 30-year-old Fit beat me up because there's no way I'd be able to beat him. I'm just being honest with myself. And then there's a 5. I feel I need to go a little bit off track here, you know what I mean? Who's a 5th one from the past? Little legend. You can help me out here. I want someone to go. You know who it is? Roddy Piper.
I was man,
Same thing.
bro. I
Roddy
was literally
Piper.
thinking of someone on the mic, and he was one of the two people that. Yes, you and Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Roddy Piper, and that's the one. We can wrestle if you want, but I don't think people want to pay to see us wrestle. I think people want to pay to see us on the mic. You know, I've learned a lot from watching Roddy's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Piper's Pit is like the perfect example of what a wrestling talk show should be, because it was never about him. It was always about his guests,
Mm-hmm.
but he always shined throughout the whole time. He was so good at doing what he did, and he had no shame. He would say whatever he thought. He was willing to take risks and be cruel. He was really mean to people, and I really appreciate someone who's willing to be really mean and cruel and be honest with people, because I think we need more of that in society.
Just too many people sugarcoating stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Oh man, big time! Like, everyone's so soft these days, and I mean that in the sense of, like, everyone wants to give each other praise and congratulations, and it's just like, I like conflict. I think conflict's fun. Like, when I watch wrestling, when I watch fighting, when I watch sport, like, I love conflict. Conflict's where the entertainment is. If everyone's best buddies and shaking hands and wrestling each other and putting a photo up together afterwards, like, that's boring to me, man. I think that's fake, and I like.
And you
real.
keep it real.
Yeah, I do, and I have no shame about that. And if people don't like it, that's okay. I'm not really doing it for people to like me. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to be
For the money, baby.
take care of my family and my friends. The money's great too. You know, it's a beautiful thing. And I'd rather be, I always say, I'd rather be a real asshole than a fake nice guy.
That's what's up. You know, I like to tell people, the guests on the show, when they bring up Roddy Piper, as I told you, I work here on the Rich Eisen show, as you can see the sign behind me here. And Roddy Piper, when he passed away on a Friday. The previous Friday, he was on this show doing an interview. And so I got to see him 1 week before he passed. And I remember I wasn't working on the show. I was working for DirecTV. The show was on DirecTV at the time. And I knew every time a wrestler came on, whether it be Roddy or Jericho or someone, I'd come to the studio. And I'll never forget that day. I had a Macho Man t-shirt in, and Roddy walked by and he reached down and he grabbed my knee and he's like, "How you doing, kid?" And I'm like, "Awesome." And I'd already taken a picture with him like 2 years prior to that. So I didn't want to bother him again for a picture, but it's just the fact that I wanted to come see Roddy, you know, and he came down and he grabbed me and he asked me how I was doing. Like, you know, look in the eyes, like really mean it. You know, I was like, man, that's hot, Rod. And bro, the next Friday he passed away. And,
hey, well, that's cool. You got the experience first, man.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy I think he left. He left every room that he was in a better place, and that's as a performer, you know, that's kind of what you want to do.
And he told some great stories about him being banned from Japan. He was over in New Japan, and they took his passport, and he stole a cab. All this, so it's just, he had a great story, and him hanging out with Andre, telling some Andre stories. It was really dope, and like I said, I'm pretty sure his last television appearance, so it made it kind of special.
Well, what a brother. Always went down telling a good story. I love hearing that.
No doubt. Well, Grayson Waller, one last thing, since you brought this up, you brought up Piper's Pit. Did you think of that when you were doing your own talk show? Like, were you trying to channel Roddy when you go out there and do that? Because you guys have a similar vibe to where, you know, you're going to put your guests, you're going to hold their feet to the flames, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely a little bit. I loved how wild Roddy was, you know, he like instigated without, you know, a lot of times he'd just be throwing in these little jabs, and it wasn't so over the top. It was just real stuff. And I love that about it. But obviously when you have a talk show in wrestling, I also didn't want it to be like everything else, because sometimes they get a little bit monotonous. It's very similar. So my whole thing too was originally I wanted it to be kind of like a Stephen A. Smith First Take kind of vibe. That's why I wanted like the round desk and kind of have that where it's like, because that's what sport talk is now. You just have guys saying wild stuff and trying to rile each other up and rile up the internet. And I love that. I was like, I just want to give me the microphone and I will say things that will rile people up. You know, I have Apollo Crews on first host. Second question I ask him, I've asked him about his fake accent that he was putting on for a couple of months, you know. Yeah. I want to bring up the stuff that you think we can't talk about. You know, you think, oh, there's no way they'd ever talk about it. Well, give me the microphone, I'll say it. I couldn't care less. So my idea was trying to get a little bit of Stephen A., a little bit of Roddy Piper, mix them together, and I think that's the cause for some controversy, but also a lot of entertainment.
And as someone who works on one of those daily sports shows, I truly appreciate what you just said there. And I think of Apollo's accent now. All I can hear is him going, Commander Aziz. And For some reason, that just sticks in my head.
It's so silly. Like, why can't we not call that stuff out? You know, like I think in wrestling sometimes we forget about the past, but I love bringing up the past. Like, I'm a student of the game. So if you're going to come on my show, just know I know everything about you. I know everything you've done, and I know the good, the bad, and most likely I'm going to talk about the bad because it's more fun to do that.
My man. Well, look, bro, I got to be honest. This was truly dope to kind of chop it up with you, get to know you a little bit. Like O'Shea said, we're both fans of your work, love what you do, just especially your mic work. Like, a lot of people can get it done in the ring, but, you know, being entertaining on the mic, that's a whole nother thing. And having the confidence in yourself every week to go out there, and because you're not trying to placate to the people. You're not out there sucking up. You're out there, you know, pretty much crapping on people in the fans.
It's true. I can't stand what the fans have become. And I mean this more about, I think it's more online fans than anyone else. But it's so fake, you know. They pick and choose who they like, and then they switch over. Like, look how they treated Cody when he was going against Cena. Look how they treat the New Day. The New Day are the greatest tag team of all time. Think of all the moments the New Day have given the wrestling industry. They gave so much, and they come out and they boo the New Day now. You know, the New Day just trying to get a chance at the tag team championships, and every week they go out and get booed. I think that's so disrespectful for everything that they've done for so long. But that's what the wrestling fans do. You know, they see one person say something on Twitter and they make it their whole personality. There's no creativity. They're all just unoriginal. I feel like wrestling fans are very unoriginal, and I'm not going to beg them to cheer for me. I don't need you. I probably never will. I hope that I never have to be that guy who has to go out there and fake, come on, guys, get behind me like that. If you see me doing that, I've done something wrong.
I'm glad you talked about New Day, because that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. How has it been working with Woods in Kingston? And are they still in mourning? It seems like they're still in mourning over the tag team title.
Well, are the Judgment Day defending the championships? No, they're playing WWE 2K in their little
clubhouse.
They're letting, Raquel and Roxy are out there fighting every week, and these two tag team champions, you know. I thought JD was a workhorse. Maybe he's getting a little bit unfit. Maybe he's getting a little bit too used to being tag champ. But working with the New Day is an honor. Like, when I say they're the greatest tag team of all time, I mean it. Like, these are two guys who, in every aspect, whether it's in the ring, out of the ring, media, YouTube, they can do it all. And they're very good at, like, turning something small into something huge. Like, they're the most entertaining guys every single week, even during the breaks on Netflix. So the Americans don't get to see it. International audiences get to see these guys go out and do these Netflix break, get the microphone, and they're hilarious, they're serious, they're fun, they're intelligent when it comes to wrestling. And I feel very lucky to be in there with them and be helping them out right now. I actually saw the Usos were kind of talking some trash on Twitter today about them, you know, saying that the Street Profits were better than the old day.
Wow.
I thought that was very disrespectful. I thought that was very disrespectful to even compare the Street Profits and the New Day, because I don't think there's any comparison between those two teams. Like, I've been in there with the Street Profits. They're not on the New Day's level. Ooh. And for the Usos, who like have teamed once in the past, 3 years, to kind of act like they're on the level of tag team wrestlers, I don't think they're the same anymore. So as a hopeful soon-to-be member of the New Day, I look forward to seeing that New Day Uso rivalry come back around, and I'd love to smack the yeet out of both those brothers.
And that was my last thing. Is this official? Are you a member of the New Day, or are you just New Day adjacent right now?
They said on Monday that we were going to talk about it today, but Woods just texted me, and he's playing Final Fantasy, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. And then Kofi's playing Tekken. So we might have to have that talk later on. That's okay. You know, we got nothing but time.
It's necessary, though. It's necessary.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm here to help out. We're trying to get, you know, right now we're dealing with this Penta guy. I think he's an absolute flop. He's what's wrong with wrestling. All these lucha guys are starting to make me sick. You know, they all wear these big outfits because they can't be bothered going to the gym and getting in shape. You know, they get a puppet on their hands so you don't look at the fact that they don't have any abs. It's just all these out of shape blokes wearing, like, they all kind of look like furries. They're all wearing these weird masks and stuff, pretending to do flips off the rope. Like, I think lucha wrestling's terrible. And I hate that we're stuck in this thing with Penta, but he's a very dangerous man. And as the New Day, we're here to save wrestling. We're here to save wrestling from the Destroyer. We're here to save wrestling from lucha. So for the next few weeks, this is what we're focused on. We're going to get rid of the Destroyer and hopefully get rid of lucha wrestling as well, because I'm sick of it.
Wow. Okay. Well, Grayson Waller. And one last thing, fans being disrespectful. It was very disrespectful of that fan the other week to throw their phone down and try to make you trip over their phone. Like I was sitting there, like I rewound that. I was like, throw that person out. They tried to trip. It made you accidentally step on their iPhone. I don't know what that was all about.
No, I did that 100% on purpose.
Okay, well,
my favorite thing is
legally I didn't want to make you say it, but you know.
Went through. They put it on Instagram, and I was reading through the comments, and all the comments are like, "I've watched WWE Unreal. It is a plant. It is not real fan. Work for WWE." And I'm dying because I know that's a real fan. I went out there. That's not a plant, lad. That guy put his phone in harm's way. Woods took it, and I stepped on it. That's not. We didn't organize that. That's not going to end up on WWE Unreal. That guy's going home with a great story and a broken phone. And if you're at a WWE show, be careful because it might happen again.
And with that, Grayson Waller, I'm going to let you go about your day, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. And if next time you're in LA, like I said, mi casa su casa, come join us.
Legend, brother. Go Birds.
Wait a second, Grayson. Come on, bro. Great interview with Grayson Waller, man. That dude is off the chain. But you know what? I think the future is very bright for my man. He's going to have a huge career in WWE. Make sure you follow us on all our socials. You know how we do. On Twitter, X, There's No Contest. On Instagram, No Contest Wrestling Podcast. On YouTube, go to the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page, put in No Contest Wrestling. You'll see all of our clips from all of our episodes. And also on TikTok, No Contest Wrestling Pod. You can follow us there. Until next week. Oh, wait a second. That's right. Shay had a message that we shot yesterday, and he wants us to show you guys. Here it is.
TJ, before I go.
Yes.
I love you, man.
All right, bro. Well, I want you to, man.
I love you, bro.
Night.
I love you, man. There's no guest.
Killing it.
It's just us here.
Do your thing. I can't wait for you to get back. Stay black. Stay strong. My man.
Bye, Miss Parker.
Bye, Miss Parker.